noon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
You're in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Candace Summers, McLean County Museum of History, joins us this morning. Good morning, Candace. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. Thanks for making time for us as always. And, Candace, we dive into the spring season and, man, I tell you, things are starting to pick up as folks get outside and just get out more. It's nice weather to do so. And we start our conversation this morning talking about summer camp as registration for summer camp gets kicked off here very soon. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, so it is time for our Futures in History camp that the museum has been offering since 2004. It is a fabulous 5-day long camp where kids entering 4th, 5th, and 6th grades get to explore the careers that use history in them. So, and we go to different places in the community to do our activities. It's a lot of fun and helps get kids excited about history and know, like, I can do more than be a history teacher, or I could also do more than, just researching in a library where a lot of people think, you just sit around and read a bunch of books. There's a lot of fun careers that use the field of history.
So when it comes to summer camps, Candace, like what kinds of things where are you going with the kids? What are you doing with them? What's the week like? What's that time like?
Yeah, absolutely. So we kick off the very first day of our camp where we're doing civics and advocacy. So we're going to get to talk about, what advocacy is, what that looks like, and go over what civics is. And I mean, they'll probably be familiar with some civics from school, but this will help them see like those things in action. Mm-hmm. We're going to get to meet some local lawmakers, somebody from Bloomington City Council. We're going to have someone from Representative Sharon Chung's office here in Bloomington. We're going to meet with some trades and labor union representatives, and they're all going to talk about how they, even as kids, can be advocates for something that they're passionate about. Mm-hmm. And so we're super excited to help get kids engaged with the places that they live. On the next day, we're going to be actually doing archaeology. Sorry, it's not like Indiana Jones where we're finding treasure, unfortunately, but they're actually going to get, their hands dirty and do some archaeology. Now, the things we have them find, they're things we put there. We're not actually finding, real archaeological things, because that's what the trained professionals are for. Mm-hmm. But we will have an archaeologist with us who works in Springfield, and she is going to talk about what she does, how they can get involved with archaeology, even as students. And then we'll get some hands-on experience over at the David Davis Mansion. Mm-hmm. On the third day, we're doing art and architecture. So we're going to not just talk about, buildings and houses, but also how like city planning works, where, mm-hmm. Community gardens are planned, green spaces are planned. So we'll get to talk with someone from city planning through the town of Normal. We're going to go to the West Side Community Garden and do some activities. And then they actually get to build their own model box building using recycled materials, and how, architecture and preservation work. The fourth day, they're going to, of course, get a behind the scenes view of Museum Studies Day. They're going to come over to the museum. We're going to meet our curator of collections, and we're going to talk about exhibits. And they're going to actually get to develop their own pop-up museum that one of the local art galleries here in town, Hanger Art, across the street from the museum, is going to host us for our pop-up museum. And then finally, on our last day, Preservation Studies Day, the kids get a trip to Rivian. And so we get to learn about green energy technology and get a behind-the-scenes tour there. And then we're going to head on over to Miller Park and learn about the history of the park. And we're going to get to go to the zoo. And it's going to be a fun-filled, jam-packed week full of history and kids learning how they can make a career out of it.
For sure. Now, Candace, remind me how long you've been doing this with the kids.
I have been here since 2005 doing this day camp, so I only missed the very first one. So I've seen it grow from just a 3-day-a-week camp to a 5-day camp that's just jam-packed, filled with activities. We've always had the core days of this camp, which is the archaeology day, the architecture day, and the preservation day. And then over the years, we've added a whole museum studies day.
Mhm.
And we also added that civics and advocacy day. And I mean, I've now at this point in my career, since I've been here for 18 years, I'm running into my former campers who are now in college. They're out of college and they're pursuing their careers. And I think my favorite engagement with one of my former campers, I was over at Leroy High School one day,
Mhm.
working with a teacher I collaborate there with. And the student he sent to bring me to the classroom, she was one of my campers. Now, she was one of my campers in like my early years. So, and, has grown up quite a bit. So I didn't recognize her. But she told me how much she had loved our camp and how it had inspired her to go into art history. Like, she's like, I really wanted to do archaeology, but I really found that I love art history. And she's like, it's because of the experiences I had at your camp that
Mhm.
made me want to do this. And I mean, that just kind of like gets you right there,
Yeah.
that
That.
you've had an impact,
Mhm.
that you've helped influence kids and help them, realize that history is not just some boring old textbook somewhere, that history's around us, it surrounds us, and we need to learn from it and help teach others about it too.
Sure. That's the story I wanted you to tell. 'Cause I remember that story from our last couple of visits. So I'm glad that's where I
Yeah.
wanted you to go with that. So I'm glad you went there. Candace Summers with the McLean County Museum of History, our guest on the phone here for today. And Candace, that's kind of one of those things. It's probably a good opportunity for a young person that maybe wonders if history and some of the topics that you're going to explore are for them. Good way to get some really up close and personal experience with that, to see if it is something perhaps they want to pursue down the road when they get there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're getting them, right before you get into middle school and high school. And that's when, you're kind of thinking like, what do I want to be when I grow up? And that's
Mhm.
when, kids are really kind of getting interested in things that may influence a career they might have. And also, there's no other history camp around here. And
Mhm.
I hear this from parents and students all the time, that they're so thankful that their kids have had this opportunity, that there's something for them that fulfills their interests and their needs. Because there's a lot of great day camps out there, but there's not one like ours that focuses truly on history and careers in history. And so it's fantastic that we've been able to keep this camp going all these years for so many generations of kids to realize they have a place that they can have fun and learn during the summer too.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that said, Candace, of course, obviously gives them an opportunity to, experience these things up close and personal. But for maybe other students, it's just an opportunity to diversify their experience and see something new, try something new.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of the kids we get, they do other camps in the summer, and that's exactly it. They love the variety. Like, they'll do an art camp here. They may go do a volleyball camp, and then they come here and do a history camp. And then, yeah, it's like, a whole school year in the semester, of a deep dive into these topics where you might not have time in the classroom because you have so much to cover, in a school year. And this is a great way that you can get creative and talk to kids about these things and really give them that immersive experience where they can do hands-on learning while having some fun too.
Who's invited to this, Candace? Like, where can kids come from to be a part of this?
I mean, we've had kids from Clinton come up to our camp before. The furthest away camper was my niece, actually, from up near Princeton, Illinois. And so, I mean, if you can drive here to get to our camp, or if maybe you have family in Bloomington your campers can stay with. We have, grandparents bringing grandkids. It's no limit on where you live. As long as you can get here and get back home, you're golden. And so it is limited to kids entering 4th, 5th, and 6th grades. We have 2 sessions of camp this summer, one the week of June 12th and one the week of July 10th. The camp runs from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day, and registration opens on May 2nd.
Mhm.
The cost for the camp is $250 per camper. That includes your lunch every day, T-shirts, all the supplies you'll need, snacks, water, drinks. We also have transportation to Rivian and Miller Park that the museum pays for. If you have multiple campers in your household, we do have a little bit of a discount for multiples. And we also offer full scholarships for any student whose household annual income is less than $36,000 a year. We are very grateful for the sponsors that we have that help us put on this camp each and every year. And without them, we wouldn't be able to do this camp.
Very good. Well, Candace, again, where do folks go to learn about it and to get registered on Tuesday?
You go to our website, makehistory.org, and there's a big banner that has history, Futures in History Camp. You click on that, and it'll take you right to the registration page.
Very good, Candace. Let's take a time out. We'll take it here and come back and get some more on what's on the calendar and other things happening with the McLean County Museum of History. Candace Summers, again, with the McLean County Museum of History, our guest on the phone. More to come with Candace here on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Illinois Ag Better.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans mixed, and wheat steady at this hour. May corn 624 down 3. July corn down 7 3/4, 573 3/4. December new crop 525 3/4 down to nickel. May beans 1431 1/4 up 4 1/2. July beans down 3, $14 3/4. November new crop 1254 3/4 down 3/4. May Chicago wheat 614 down 3/4. July wheat up half a penny 629 3/4. May bean meal 427.60 down 30 cents. May bean oil 51.24 up 46 cents. Livestock market. May feeders 211.55 up 2 cents. April live cattle 176.12 up 67 cents. May lean hogs 79.10 up 97 cents. Energy market. June crude oil 75.04 up 28 cents. I'm Jim Taylor.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace now offers free assembly and free delivery, so it's never been easier to get a great grill for your family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block. What you need in stock. With people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, the helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Candace Summers with the McLean County Museum of History, my guest on the phone here for this morning. Candace, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up in the month of, man, I can't believe it. It's already May. What's coming up in May at the museum?
I know. I don't know where April went whatsoever, but this Saturday, one of the last few days of April, we are partnering with Normal Public Library and Illinois Humanities to host Angela Jackson, who is the 5th Illinois Poet Laureate. She'll be coming to Normal Public Library this Saturday at 2 o'clock. And it's National Poetry Month, and it's also National Library Week. So we thought it would be really appropriate to bring Ms. Jackson to Normal Public Library to share some of her work, including her early work and from her most recent book. And then she'll also share insight on how writing poetry is a process and a life work.
Very good. So that's a pretty, you were telling me that's a pretty big deal that she's coming to our community.
Yeah. So Angela Jackson, she's only one of 5 in the history of Illinois State poet laureates. She follows Carl Sandburg, Gwendolyn Brooks, Howard Austin and Kevin Stein.
Mhm.
And as the poet laureate, Angela, she hopes to bring to Illinoisans poetry that they can relate to, be lifted by, and find their lives illuminated by. Poems bring us to ourselves, and poems bring us together. And so it's going to be a real treat. We have a nice little poetry group here in Bloomington Normal, and we thought it would be a fun way to promote our own poetry scene, but also how, people can, start writing poetry themselves. It's a way that you can like work through emotions. It's a way that you can, just kind of like document your life. And it's a way to express yourself. We've had people throughout Bloomington Normal history that have used poetry, especially in times of trouble, to lift themselves up and try to help lift others up as well.
Kind of therapeutic in a way.
Yeah, it really, really is. I mean, I'm not a poet myself, but I do appreciate poetry and how it can impact people. So I think this is really going to be a wonderful program. It's going to bring together, both our regular attendees, but also maybe some people who've never attended a museum program before.
Very good. Anything else on that, Candace, we didn't touch on?
It will be live streamed, not recorded, and you can access that live stream through Normal Public Library's website. But it is in person at the library as well. It's going to be held in the cafe area on the first floor, starting at 2:00 on Saturday.
Very good. So put that on the calendar. I know you, Candace, were telling me farmers market season with it right around the corner. You're going to be at the market there in Normal. Tell us about this.
Yeah. So the downtown Bloomington farmers market season kicks off Saturday, May 6th. They started at 7:30 a.m., but museum at the market will be from 9 to noon that day. It's kind of like a little grab and go where you come to our table, maybe pick up a bottle of Funk's Maple Grove syrup, or you can pick up information about upcoming museum programs. The museum will also be free from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. during the market each Saturday through the season. So once you get your shopping done outside, you can come in and check out our exhibits inside for free during the market.
There you go. Check it out. So, Candace, as it relates to the market, I venture a guess that's just a great way for folks to probably get to know the organization and the museum a little bit more. And, if nothing else, just at least know that you're there, and it's an opportunity for them to learn more when you have special things going on.
Absolutely. It's, if you've never been to the museum or you haven't been in a long time and you come down to the farmers market, it's a really quick, easy way to pop on in and check us out. Check out our exhibits, check out our resources, just learn a little bit about our museum. And we love, having new visitors come in, visitors who've been many, many times. We're here for you as a resource of your local history, a place for community gathering. It's a quick and easy way to get to know us by coming down to the market.
Very good. Candace, anything else on that?
Farmers market season runs May 6th through the end of October, and the museum is open and free 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. each Saturday of the market.
Can't beat it. There you go. So check it out. Candace, what else is happening in May? What else would you like to highlight with us today?
We also have our second knit-in of the year. We'll be doing it over at Illinois Art Station in Normal because we have our elevator construction process still going on, which our elevator is currently down for maintenance, but we're super excited that we're getting a new one to replace the one that was installed about 43 years ago. But at our next knit-in at Illinois Art Station, we'll be actually making hats and scarves fidget cuffs, we'll be making fidget cuffs, which is a little knitted or crocheted armband where you put like beads and buttons on it. And that way, folks who are in hospitals that may be suffering from dementia, instead of fidgeting with IVs and other things that they need to have in them, they can fidget with these beads and buttons that cover it with that wrist cuff.
Very good. So put that on the radar. Candace, what else do you have going on?
With the upcoming summer season, we'll be doing some outdoor events. We'll be participating in the Bloomington Family Day over at Tipton Park. We're going to do some Pride celebration activities later in July. There's a lot going on at the museum, both inside our building and outside the building. And for all those details, you can check out mchistory.org.
Speaking of inside the building, I'm glad you brought this up. How's the elevator project going?
It's going well, as expected. They are, plugging away at building the new platform area where all the new elevator equipment will go. It is a little behind. They had some illness at the beginning of the project, but it seems to be they're back on track. Our elevator will officially go down next week, I believe on Monday. So currently still functioning, but you never know when what is going to happen in a project. So it's better safe than sorry that we moved everything outside the building for now until that project is completed, hopefully in early July. But it seems to be things are going really well now.
So when that is done, Candace, like, will you start to go back to working on special exhibits and things of that nature?
We're currently working on special exhibits right now.
Oh, cool.
They will open after that elevator project is done, but we'll go back to having the majority of our programs inside this building. Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Look forward to it. So that's really going to open things up, kind of no pun intended, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's going to be so nice, not worrying about if the elevator will stop working midway up to your floor you work on.
Sure. Candace, one more time, if you don't mind. I know you mentioned that summer camp season, you will have registration opening on Tuesday. Just again, give us the heads up on the when and where folks go for more information on that.
Yeah, Futures in History Camp registration opens on Tuesday, May 2nd, 9 a.m. So you go to our website, mchistory.org, and click on the banner on front about our day camp, and it'll take you right to the page to do the registration. Camp is limited to 15 students per camp, so that's 30 total. So register ASAP to guarantee your student a spot in our camp.
Awesome. And again, Candace, just where do folks go to follow along with the museum, whether it's on the World Wide Web, maybe social media? How about some of those things?
You can go to our Facebook page. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, as always, mchistory.org.
For sure. Candace, it's always good to have you. Appreciate you making time for us. And we'll catch you next month. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me as always.
Candace Summers, McLean County Museum of History, our guest on the phone here for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. You can check out YouTube and Facebook for video streams of our previous interviews, or you can find us live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news comes your way next on the WHOW Morning Show, and again, stream live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM, W222.